Before I start this video, I want to say that I have this camera slanted because I want you to know that there's a lot of crooked people here in Valdosta. And so as I give this message about a 5-month criminal trespass that was given following the death of Kendrick Johnson, I have this camera crooked. The Lowndes County High School informational board behind me to let you know that there are a lot of crooked people. A lot of crooked people, man. And as I speak, and you see this picture tilted, it's because I want you all to know there's a lot of crooked things going on. But there's some things that's straight going on too. And in your spare times, as you get ready to watch the next video, Google Isaiah 35:8. That's Isaiah 35:8. Check it out. Greetings. I'm George Boston Rhymes to get to Free Press. Today is October the 30th, 2018, and I'm standing in front of the Lowndes County High School in the Lowndes County school system, wherein the superintendent is the Honorable Wes Taylor. Wes Taylor and the all-white school board members have ignored my public address before that high and prestigious all-white body for quite a few months now. I stood before that board. I took a chance of being arrested by going on this property against the orders and instructions I received from the Lowndes County Sheriff Department under Sheriff Prime in 2013. It was over in front of the superintendent's building that I was notified by a Lowndes County Sheriff deputy that I was under a criminal trespass and that if I go on any part of Lowndes County High School property that I would be arrested. And I didn't quite understand the depth of what they were doing to me following the death of Kendrick Johnson. So at the graduation of 2013, I came here at this location to go to the graduation. And a Lowndes County Sheriff deputy by the name of Thomas told me that I was under a criminal trespass issued by School Superintendent Wes Taylor. These were the same instructions I had received in front of the superintendent's office. I didn't know how deep this conspiracy and to deny me of freedom of movement, not in Russia, China, but right here in the United States of America. I want you to understand that this all happened to me following the death of Kendrick Johnson on January the 10th, 2013. And his body was found the 11th of January 2013. I walked with some of the investigators because they asked me to. And there's a whole lot more that I could talk about, but that's not why I'm here today. I want the people and the children attending Lowndes County High School to understand that out of 3,000 educators, not 3,000 educators, but 3,000 students and many educators along with employees, nobody's coming forward to talk about how that young man died. The mother, Jackie, the father, Kenneth, the granddaddy, Thule, and English, the grandmother, they all are still concerned. They are just as fired up today as they were yesterday. But I want the people in Valdosta to understand. I want the people in Lowndes County to understand that there is something seriously wrong here in Valdosta, in Lowndes County, Georgia, and very few people want to talk about it. Now, let's get on point. Number one, the KJ family have already stated for the record in many videos before many news media outlets across the nation that Valdosta will never be the same until they get justice for their child. They have made that unequivocally clear. The father spoke in front of the crime lab and he broke it down. He included the educators who know something, the children who know something, members of law enforcement who know something, scared to death pastors who know something. He've already addressed that. He even addressed about the point of how could his clothes and body parts be removed, and the local, state, or federal government, to his knowledge, have not brought anybody up on charges, nor have they stated for the record corrective actions so this would not happen to any other human being. All of this, in too many instances, have been ignored. The fact that the Judge Richard Porter III ruled against the Kendrick Johnson family and sided with the attorneys to the tune of $300,000 has been published by the news media sources here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, in the state of Georgia. But few news media networks will report what I have reported, and will report in my next statement that many people do not know that the original fees that they were trying to get from Judge Porter was at least $750,000 to $1 million. Judge Porter lowered it to $300,000, and Judge Porter should have recused himself. Let me repeat. Judge Porter should have recused himself because he was seen in every case that took place in Valdosta sleeping while on the bench. I repeat, he was sleeping while on the bench. The attorneys, the people in the courtroom, the stenographer, and others saw him sleeping. Moreover, Channel 10, Channel 6, Valdosta Daily Times, the Get To Free Press, myself, and others witnessed him sleeping in these cases while ruling against the Kendrick Johnson family. But no attorney said anything, not one word. No news media published that to the general public except me, the Get To Free Press, and Bobby Worthy of Justice League United, and the NAACP representatives out of Waycross and Black Shear. So it seemed as if though the news media, let me say it again, it seemed as if though the news media is in cahoots with somebody to suppress the truth and to allow the Kendrick Johnson family to continue to suffer and question local governments, local law enforcement, the local school system, and it is indeed a disgrace, and is doing little to nothing to help the image of Lowndes County High School, or to put a sense of peace and trust in the minds of students now attending Lowndes County High School, as well as perhaps Valdosta City School, because they are all in the city and county of Valdosta, Georgia. Now, the wicked members of law enforcement, the wicked members of the Lowndes County School Board of Education, the wicked members of investigators who know what took place and who seem to be so quiet, so closed-lipped, until people are continuing to question the satanic movement that exists here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, and across the state of Georgia. Let me go back to the news media. I I went to all local news media. I even went to Victor Blackwell in Macon, Georgia, and I asked him, why is it that no news media, mainstream, will publish to the people of Valdosta, Lowndes County, the state of Georgia, the United States of America, and around the world, that they put me under a criminal trespass after the death of Kendrick Johnson to the tune of 5 years and 5 months. And nobody, but nobody, will publish that news to the people here in the United States of America. Not in Afghanistan, not in Iran, not in Pakistan or Tajikistan, but right here where I stand in Lowndes County in Valdosta, Georgia. The Valdosta Daily Times editor, Kay Harris, no editor, no local mainstream TV station, including ABC out of Tallahassee, CBS, NBC, Fox, or anyone else, would investigate these satanic lies that was thrust upon me, a retired military veteran of 20 years that served during the Vietnam era. They don't give a damn about that. What does that mean? That means that any student from Valdosta State University, that means that any airman from Moody Air Force Base, including the generals, the colonels, the majors, the captains, the lieutenants, the enlisted ranks, the chief master sergeants, and other base personnel, including the civilians at Moody Air Force Base, can be stopped here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, in the state of Georgia, and given an illegal, unjustified criminal trespass when they violated no law. And this wicked, satanic news media network, satanic, ugly, racist news media network will say anything about it to the general public. So why should black and white right people join the armed forces, and especially the National Guard or the reserves here in the state of Georgia? Now, if the people from Moody serving their country do not have freedom of the press here because they won't press the pen against the paper and take my story, the story of an innocent veteran, number one, the innocent story, it's not really a story, it's the truth, from a former business owner for 20 years. Yes, I was in business here for 14 years. I was in the military for over 20 years. And yet when KJ died, for whatever reason, they chose to ban me. Did they think that some of those children would tell me the truth, and because they didn't control me, they know I don't play the ostrich head duck game? That's when you bury your head in the sand and pretend that you're in heaven with all your backside sticking out and the world laughing at you. I refused to play that game, because if I was willing in the 70s to volunteer for the armed forces during the Vietnam era war, be willing to die for a country who had told me in civics lessons that I had rights guaranteed by the Constitution and the 14th Amendment. And so I enlisted before I was drafted. And yet this is the way the government of America will treat its citizens, with no freedom of the press, no respect for the ordinary individual, and then gonna lie and ignore me at a public meeting and not even provide me one answer as a courteous reply from the Lowndes County School Board of Education all male white members on the board in 2018. And so people want all the citizens in Valdosta to shut up. They don't want you to stand up for Jesus or Allah or Jah or Jehovah. They want you to pretend that Valdosta is a little small, nice town while they got all this underhanded dirt going on. Most people know about it, but they won't say nothing about it. The death of Kendrick Johnson is nothing new. We have the history of all these southern towns. We have the history of James Demp that was shot back in the 70s, 75 when I first got here stationed at Moody in front of Washington Funeral Home. We have the history of Earl Evans, a black man that was dating a white woman in Brooks County. They shot him, they burned him up in a police car, and the rest is history, but no justice was received. Look at the Wootons and the Densons that was drowned in a pond over in Brooks County, and many other deaths that we have record of. And they will not investigate. They will not try to set the record straight. They think they're going to get away. But if they do not receive justice, God will transfer upon their children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren according to the volume of sacred law known to some people as the Holy Bible and the original Word of God. Wait a minute. You're looking at me, and you're saying, well, that happened to you. But it didn't happen to me, and we think you're lying. Well, I will share this with you. Soon the people that come to visit Kenaloo Golf Course probably, more than likely, will be stopped at some point and given a criminal trespass. People going and attending VSU will be stopped by law enforcement and told they're under a criminal trespass, and won't nothing happen to them, and won't nobody tell their stories. Your children attending Wiregrass Technical College, or going to Georgia Military College, or going to Wild Adventures Theme Park, or going to Francis Lake down in Lake Park, or going to some other historic area, and they're gonna pull you over just to get revenue for the city or county or state. Nothing gonna be said about it. And what is more disgraceful, more distasteful, is that you don't have no mainstream news media in this so-called metro city that will even publish newsworthy events in the black community. Yet when we have wars, they want black people to go and fight these wars. And I'm saying to black and white right people, why would you go fight in the military for a nation that will not even guarantee you the right of freedom of movement, the right to vote, the right to hold public office, and the right to have mainstream news media to tell your story to the general public, and then they pretend that they love you. They collect your taxes, but they will not publish your stories. That is indeed a disgrace to the free world. And so I'm going to continue to be faithful to America. I'm going to be faithful to the code of conduct that I took while I wore the uniform. Now I see a sheriff's office walking up on me now. I see a sheriff's deputy. I'm going to pause because I want to hear what he has to say. Yes, sir.
I've got to call him on.
Come on over, sir. I can't hear you.
I said I came out to see you. Come out to check to make sure you're good.
Somebody sent you over, sir?
Somebody from the school called and said somebody was out in front, so I just came out here to see who it was. You're well within the law right here.
Thank you very much,
yes, sir.
What's your name, sir? Williams. Quinn. That was Sheriff Deputy Quinn. He said that somebody from the school system called them and told them that somebody was out here in front of the school. Now, don't you remember that I was out here before? The Valdosta Police Department came out here and said I was in the street. You see how these wicked liars, I'm not talking about the sheriff deputy, he's doing his job. I ain't talking about him. I'm not talking about the sheriff deputy. Those deputies have to do their job when citizens call. But I have a damn if I'm gonna quit. Just because they killed KJ, they think I'm gonna shut up? They got another thing coming. I took an oath in the military that I would defend this country from both foreign and domestic enemies. And now I still believe in that code of conduct. If I was willing to die in Vietnam, then should I not be willing to die for my mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my white citizen, my black citizen, my Asian citizen, my Indian citizen, everybody that participated in making this land be a free and democratic society. I will never quit. And I pass it on to my children and my grandchildren to forever ask the question, why did you put my granddaddy under a criminal trespass when he violated no law? Once again, that was the Lowndes County Sheriff Department, not under Sheriff Prime. He's under Sheriff Ashley Pope. All I'm doing, as I was doing before, I'm gonna drop the other video right behind this to show you that the Valdosta Police Department came because somebody called me. Called the police department, and they had to respond, just like that deputy had to respond. I don't blame him. I'm not going to blame that deputy. He was as cordial, he was as professional as anybody would want him to be. And so as the father said before, there's something wrong. They had a third autopsy and they found something. And you're going to get to hear it eventually. But the thing is this. People need to understand that there are some of us. We know fake news when we see it. And we also know satanic hypocrites who masquerade as Christians and Muslims and Jews and Hindu and you. But they won't stand up for what is right for our children and coming generations of children. And it is indeed a disgrace. Why? Because if the people of America, if the people in Valdosta, if the people in Lowndes County, if the people in the state of Georgia, and if the people in the United States of America, and if the people around the world refuse to stand up for right and righteousness, then your children don't deserve any rights. And that's what is happening. Because we as a people refuse to stand up. We are losing our rights and we are becoming a police state. Let me repeat. We are becoming a police state. They shooting black folk down on the street. You all don't say nothing because it's black folk. But I remember that I'm not a Muslim, never have been, and probably won't ever be one. But the Muslim said, Elijah Muhammad, say be aware of what you see happening on distant shores, for soon it will be knocking on your door. What does that mean? That means you have watched wicked, satanic, black and white police officers just shoot black Americans down in the street. Many of them served in the wars to defend the rights that exist in this country without justice ever being received. But look, beware what you see happening in distant shores, for soon, very soon, it will be knocking on your door. That means that white people thought they were safe because it's just black folk getting blown down. But now in the schools, whites are getting killed. Asians are being killed. Germans are being killed. Blacks are being killed. Indians are being killed. Native Americans are everybody being killed. It started out with the original people of the earth, the ancient Ethiopians, the ancient black Hebrew Israelites. And then it goes astray. Then it spreads out throughout the diaspora. So that means one simple thing. The Jews, let me throw in one more. The Jews watched black folk getting blown down, and they was 6 million supposedly died in the Holocaust, not to mention over 100 million black lives, the transatlantic slave trade. And only thing we really have to show that a slave trade ever existed is that the hurricanes traveled the routes of those old slave ships to let us know that our ancestors was correct, that vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and he said he would repay. In Galatians 6 and 7, according to Apostle Paul to the Galatians, God is not marked for whatsoever you sow, that shall you gonna reap. You can run. You may never get tired, but you're gonna pay for the wickedness you do upon the righteous people of the planet Earth. You can run. You can become a millionaire, but you're gonna pay for what you've done. We may not live to see it in our lifetime, for though we suffer and though we die, by the blood of the Lamb, we shall overcome. So I'm gonna close on this note now. Why should any black American, why should any Asian American, why should any Japanese American, why should any Native American, why should any Palestinian American, why should any Jewish American, why should any human being serve in the United States Armed Forces when they deny the American people, regardless of their ethnicity? Why should they serve and volunteer to fight and die for this country like I did for 20 years, only to be placed under a criminal trespass for 5 years, 5 months, and I violated no law? Now, in closing, this is my final closing. Now, you may ask a question. You spoke well, but how do you know they put you under a criminal trespass? Did they put anything in writing? Did anyone own up to it? No. They didn't put anything in writing. Well, how do you know? Because my military training taught me some things. I worked in security service headquarters in Kelly Air Force Base, where they got the big old fence, where you had to have a SSR clearance and wore a badge every time, every day to get it. That's where I worked. And I learned something from them. I learned something. When I came out here, I was recording. And when Deputy Thomas told me that I was under a criminal trespass, and that if I go as farther that turn around, that I would be arrested. And so I recorded him. I asked him, by whose authority? Just like I asked the officer over there. He said Wes Taylor did it. The office deputy here said Wes Taylor did it. Then I went to all agencies, local, state, federal governments, and told them about this. Nobody, just like the Valdosta Daily Times and other news media, when nobody published anything. But I had and still got the audio, and I got it published on another video, and I'm gonna put it in the description of this video so you can see that I am not of the wicked forces of Satan, but that I'm on God's side. And we don't have many believers in God in Valdosta. We don't have many. You can count the believers in God, because if the people in Valdosta and Lowndes County believed in God, they would stand up for right, and they would join in with the righteous. They would publish their stories so the wicked will not control our beloved community, so our children at the school could breathe and have confidence in the leadership of Superintendent Wes Taylor and the all-white School Board of Education, and the discrimination that's going on out there in the lunchroom, discrimination against black employees at the lunchroom, at the lunchroom, at the lunchroom at Lowndes County School under Wes Taylor and the all-white School Board of Education. I know it because many of them send me information. I haven't published it yet because I don't have to. Somebody else is working it. But before the KJ case is closed, there's going to be a rude awakening. So you will know who's following the devil and who's following Jesus or Allah or Jehovah or Jah or 420 same other name that I got in a book called The Names of God. And so, to answer your question, I have it on audio that Wes Taylor put me under this criminal trespass. Then my friend who really believed in the God that I believe in, because he had enough courage and enough love and enough concern and enough humanity to man to go and talk to Wes Taylor and ask him, what do you have against my friend George Boston Rhyme when I asked him to film my daughter's graduation? That's why he wanted to go on the school system, and y'all banned him, so I don't have a record of that graduation because you all denied him the right when he violated no law. The Honorable Wes Taylor, and we have him on tape, and I put it on YouTube, because I don't belong to Satan. I belong to you if you love truth. I belong to you if you want your children safe at these schools. I believe in you if you want law enforcement to be upright. I believe in you if you don't want America to become a police state. And so I'm standing up for you. So, Wes Taylor told Mr. Robinson that he didn't do it. But he said he think that the sheriff department under Sheriff Prine was working something on me. There wasn't nothing to work on me but right and righteousness, and they refused to do that. So they dropped the bomb of wickedness on me, and then they want me to do like other Negroes and other pastors and preachers here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, go bury my head in the sand, get with some of these white folks and Uncle Tom black folk, and pretend that I'm in heaven with all my backside sticking out, and these white folk and wicked black folk are laughing at me because they know that I have become a Satan or devil myself. And so Wes Taylor said he didn't do it, keeping in mind that I worked in the security service headquarters at Kelly Air Force Base. So here's what I did. I drafted a letter. I'm about through, y'all. I sent a letter to Wes Taylor and one to the sheriff department. And I asked them to send me all correspondence, all video cameras from the sheriff deputy car, anything else they had on me. That's what I asked them for. And they wrote back and told me that they don't have nothing in their records against me. Here again, my military service taught me that if it ain't in writing, it didn't happen. And so I asked them, well, if you don't have nothing on me, then remove me in writing. In other words, draft a letter and remove me from this criminal trespass that you know I'm on, because I have played the audio tape for you on YouTube and sent it to most all the government agencies, all the way up to Eric Holder of the Department of Justice under President Barack Hussein Obama and Michael Moore. I don't understand why In truth, the Kendrick Johnson attorney, Shaveen King, did not take this case. I don't understand it. And I respect him. Because this criminal trespass, or what they did to me, just may have a direct impact on KJ's death in how they wanted to cover up and how they wanted to keep the press out. Now, let me say this, and then I guess I will close. When I was going at one time on the property up here, when they stopped me, I got a copy of video footage that I recorded with my video that I'm not talking about yet. I'm saving that because I can show on that video that Channel 6 and other TV stations, just like me, being a member of the press, they went up the same area, the same road that I went up. And they didn't give them a criminal trespass. I got that on video. They talked to Channel 6. I can show you. I have it on video. And so I'm going to continue to ask the question. How long does these wicked people think they're going to continue with the old good old boy system and you don't pay a price for it? People now are getting fed up with all these cover-ups, all these special treatments that you're giving to certain people that are in the clique and among the slicks. People getting fed up with it. And we don't have to resort to what they call white violence. We don't have to do that, never have. God made a promise to our ancestors that if you hold your peace, I would fight your battle. It will fall down on the one who did the dirt, on their children, their grandchildren, and coming generation. We don't have to fight the white man. We really don't. We've never had to fight the white man. We have fought the wars for the white man, but God have always, without exception, because we don't have nothing to fight with. And most of us are not seeking nothing to fight with. Many of us got the assault rifles, but we don't put our faith in these weapons of war. We put our faith in the God of our ancestors, in the God of creation, knowing that heaven and earth, Matthew 24:35, that heaven and earth would pass away, but my word would stand forever. So we don't have to fight the white man. God said, that's my fight. You just stand holy before me. I would fight for you. KJ family don't have to fight against these wicked people. God got it. You right, Kenneth. God got it. God got it, man. And somewhere I read, though we suffer and though we die, by the blood of the Lamb, we shall overcome. Heaven and earth would pass away, but my word would stand forever. God got some of us are willing to die as our ancestors yesterday. You talk about Jesus. You talk about Moses. You talk about Allah. But do you talk about the real God of the universe who put all this in order? And that's where I stand today. The deputy came out here today. I don't fear him because God said to fear him and him alone. Y'all have a nice day. I'm not angry with anybody. I love all of you because I stand 100% certain that in the end, truth, right, and justice will win in the end. As it is written, so shall it be done. And I want you to know that I pray for the wicked people at Lowndes County High School. I pray for you. I pray for your children. I pray for your grandchildren. And I pray for coming generations that will pay the price of what has been done. And you got a chance, as Apostle Paul said, to repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. You see, I don't go to church to play games, to clap my hand, holler hallelujah and hallelujah. I stand upright because that's what God has ordained. I'm not talking about the horn God. I'm not talking about your God. But I'm talking about the living, the true, the righteous, and holy God. Peace be unto you. I'm finished, y'all. I want you to have a nice day. And I want you to remember, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. For it is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon all of you. But make no mistake about it. In the end, truth, right, and justice will win. This is the Get To Free Press, YouTube, Boston, G.B.R. Peace be unto you, and God bless each and every one of you. I have this camera crooked. Lowndes County High School informational board behind me to let you know that there are a lot of crooked people. A lot of crooked people, man. And as I speak, and you see this picture tilted, it's because I want you all to know there's a lot of crooked things going on.